Crossing the flood and wilderness. Su Hong became one of the three ancestors of the human race, the Suiren clan. To obtain the Firewood transmission system, simply preach to the heavens to receive rewards. The opening preaching covers the era of the universe. Obtain the sky covering cultivation method. So Su Hong diligently practiced his martial arts. Translation disorder, inverse time and space. In order to promote the development of the human race, we constantly seek out the sons of the world's energy and fortune. Leading the human race to constantly become stronger. Countless years later. When the two races of witches and demons were still fighting fiercely for the position of the protagonist of heaven and earth, Su Hong has silently become a saint. When the saints are still considering how to promote their own sect, Su Hong has led the human race to the summit of the heavens. Integrate all worlds into the wilderness. Enhance the source of the flood and famine. The saints bow down, the heavenly way kneels and licks, and Hongjun remains silent. Sheng, why don't you take the position of the founder of Taoism? Why don't you come? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. As a Suiren, the firewood is passed down from generation to generation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The merit of the heavenly generals is immeasurable. Our ancestors drilled wood and set fire to our human race, freeing us from the life of drinking blood. Congratulations to our ancestors for achieving the position of the Luo Jin Xiangua, transcending the river of time and living forever. The ancestors drilling into wood to make fire and the bestowal of merit from heaven are commendable and congratulatory. Congratulations to our ancestors, congratulations to the human race. Su Hong was awakened in the midst of a commotion. Upon opening his eyes irritably, Su Hong felt a bit confused. He clearly remembers sleeping in the company last night due to working overtime for too long. But what is the situation now, and what kind of people are surrounding me from afar? Why are you all yellow-skinned and dirty all over? Have you come to a refugee camp? Well, that's not right. After taking a closer look, Su Hong realized that not everyone's situation was bad either. There are still a group of people who are full of muscles, with sparkling eyes and full of vitality at first glance. However, most of these people are also dressed in animal skins, hair, and other things. In this situation, Su Hong's expression froze. So, have you been dreaming without waking up, or have you traveled through time? Patriarch, what's wrong? Just as Su Hong was still puzzled, an old man with white hair but full of energy, like an old man who had started his second spring in life, asked Su Hong a question in confusion. Su Hong trembled instantly. Looking at the old man's gaze, there was a chill. Are you playing like this? You, an old man with half of your body buried in the ground, call out to me, a handsome young man with twice the strength of his body, old ancestor. Isn't this a sacrifice for my life? Su Hong finally confirmed that he had indeed traveled through time. Just, what's the beginning of this? Did you travel to a primitive tribe? Just as Su Hong didn't know how to speak, a large amount of fragmented information suddenly flashed through his mind. After a moment of reflection, Su Hong's eyes showed a clear understanding, and he said to the old man with a complex expression. All right, I'm fine. Let everyone disperse. The old man seems to be unable to understand that it should have been a great joy for our ancestors to drill through wood to start a fire and bring merit from heaven. Why do you have a heavy heart? But seeing that Su Hong had slowly turned around, he could only wave his hand helplessly. All right, let's all disperse. Our ancestor has just made a breakthrough in cultivation, so we need to concentrate and cultivate. Don't disturb anyone. Although the others were equally puzzled, they still began to gradually dissipate. And Su Hong walked all the way to a thatched cottage before gradually regaining his senses, with a bitter smile on his face. Surprisingly, this is the beginning. It's really. He had long been accustomed to modern life, and suddenly returned to a primitive tribe, which was a bit uncomfortable for him. Through memory fragments in the mind. Su Hong is already aware that he has not only traveled through time. And he also traveled to the world of floods and became the ancestor of the Suiren clan. At the time of crossing, it was the opportunity for the Suiren clan to drill wood and start fire, bestow merit from heaven, and achieve the great Luo Golden Immortal. That is to say, he is now a de Luo Jin Xian. Although some water is enough. After all, it was forcibly improved through the use of heavenly merit, which is definitely incomparable to the breakthrough in normal cultivation. At this point, Daozu Hongjun had already joined the heavenly way. 6 saints emerge together between heaven and earth. The witch and demon races are fighting fiercely. As a newly born race, the human race is caught in the middle and naturally leads a difficult life. Fortunately, the human race was ultimately created by the sage and Yuhua. In addition, the overall strength of the human race is pitifully weak, which poses no threat to the lich and demon races at all. Therefore, for the sake of the saints, the human race can barely survive. However, even so, the survival environment of the vast world alone is a great challenge for the human race. This is also why I was just promoted to the Daoyuo Golden Immortal, which excited countless people in the human race. After all, in this world, strength is the only guarantee of survival. Sorry to bother you. After a brief thought process, Su Hong couldn't help but sigh. As the saying goes, when the sky falls, there are tall people standing against it. He is the ancestor of the human race and currently the only Daoyuo Jinxian of the human race, the tallest one. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. The future development of the human race was immediately on his shoulders. Even Su Hong felt suffocated and couldn't breathe freely. He is a small smuggler named Luo Jinxian, and he always feels a bit overwhelmed. Bend your finger and flick. A bright flame flashed out between Su Hong's eyes, and the air around him began to become scorching. Not extinguishing the firewood. As the first artificially created flame in the world, Su Hong borrowed the merit of the heavenly way to enhance his cultivation. This flame, also bathed in the merit of the heavenly way, has been elevated to a spiritual fire of merit. An indestructible firewood fire. As for its power, probably on par with the true fire of Emperor Jun and Tai's sun. This is currently the most powerful treasure on me. Well, to be more precise, it should be a merit spiritual object. Seeing the flames jumping between them, Su Hong shook his head helplessly. Even if you become a de Luo Jin Xian, you still feel very weak and don't have any decent magic treasures. The future is really difficult. Ding, the current situation of the host has been detected, and the Firewood transmission system has started to activate. New book set sale, seeking flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets, seeking flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets, seeking flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets. Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Covering the heavenly world, our ancestors save lives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, the Firewood transmission system has been successfully launched. Please investigate the specific functions by the host themselves. The sudden sound startled Su Hong for a moment. After realizing it, Su Hong's face lit up again. System. Gold finger. As a traveler, he knows very well what this is. Sure enough, there is a reason why one can travel on their own. After calming down, Su Hong began to investigate the system. After a period of time, after gaining a rough understanding of the system's function, Su Hong's seriousness finally revealed a joyful expression. I see. The preaching of Firewood refers to preaching to the heavens and all realms. Just preach to these worlds and you can randomly receive some rewards. The greater the impact on the preaching world, the more precious the rewards obtained. Even as the influence of the preaching world expands to a certain extent, the connection with the preaching world continues to strengthen, and it can also lead people into the wasteland world. In the end, even the preaching world can be directly integrated into the wilderness. Su Hong pondered and based on the information from the system. The world of preaching is also hierarchical. From the beginning of the Little Thousand World, to the Middle Thousand World, the Great Thousand World. Among them, the Great Thousand Worlds can be divided into Ordinary Great Thousand Worlds, Medium Great Thousand Worlds, Advanced Great Thousand Worlds, and Top-Level Great Thousand Worlds. Even some, already on the brink of evolution, may be elevated to the extreme of a chaotic world at any time. The division of world levels is based on the upper limit of cultivation in the world. Like a vast world, an ordinary vast world, Fairyland is the limit. In the vast world, the golden immortal is the limit. And the ultimate world can give birth to saints, and even surpass the existence of saints. Therefore, preaching in different levels of the world results in different rewards. And preaching in every world. At the same time as the system locks in the preaching world, it will instantly help him lock in the current son of Qi in the preaching world. The son of Qi luck represents the person with the strongest Qi luck in the world of preaching, and is also closest to the origin of heaven and earth. The closer the connection with the son of Qi Yun, the closer the connection with the preaching world. After roughly sorting out his thoughts, Su Hong suddenly froze again. According to the system, in order to communicate in the world of preaching, it is necessary to first identify the world that needs to be preached. To lock in the world of preaching, it requires preaching points. So, now the question is how to lock in these worlds of the heavens and all realms. Ding, detected that the host has bound the system for the first time, and the transmission point is 0. The system will give the host a free opportunity to lock in the heavens and worlds. Starting random locking. Ding, we have locked in the primary world for our host. The world of the era of obscuration. It seems that upon hearing Su Hong's inner thoughts, the sound of the system rang out again. Meanwhile, Su Hong discovered his spiritual consciousness and began to infinitely elevate it. In an instant, it crossed the endless space and time, and established contact with a world deep within the endless space and time. Through the world's membranes, Su Hong's gaze crossed endless time and space, directly falling on a young man. At this moment, the young man was standing on the top of a towering mountain. As his mind flashed through the system information, Su Hong's eyes immediately showed a faint smile. The era of obscurity, Yi He. Mount Taishan. Is this the beginning of the plot? He knows nothing better about the era of obscurity. Although, in the evaluation of the system, the world of the Age of Shadows is just a low-level world. However, Su Hong didn't care, all he wanted was to preach. Secondly, he places greater emphasis on the sons of Qi and fortune in the world of the Age of Shadows. These sons of luck from different eras, each with their own qualifications and talents, are enough to amaze the ages. It is only due to the limitations of the world itself that individual achievements are ultimately limited. But according to the system, as long as his influence on the world deepens during the process of preaching, he can bring people from the era of obscurity into the wilderness. Therefore, as long as operated properly, the human race will soon produce a large number of proud sons of heaven. The strength of the human race can also be quickly enhanced. Through endless time and space, from a distance, I can see the strongest current aura of the world of the sky-covering era, Yi He. Su Hong immediately conveyed a hint of information. At the same time, the world of the Age of Shadows. Blue Star. Mount Taishan Peak. The son of the strongest fortune that covers the era of the heavens Yi He, who was enjoying the scenery everywhere, suddenly changed his expression. Did I hallucinate? What situation? How do I feel like someone is talking in my head? Am I particularly schizophrenic? The sudden sound in his mind made Yi He feel a bit dumbfounded. He is a steadfast atheist bathed in the sunshine of the new era. What Suiren clan? Just kidding. I must have hallucinated myself. Otherwise, why did such an outrageous sound come to mind? Yi He considered himself to have some knowledge of the name Suiren. According to legend, this person brought the first flame of heaven and earth to the human race, freeing them from the life of drinking blood. Therefore, it is known as the ancestor of Suiren by later generations, and together with the other two ancestors, the Yu Chao and Zi clans, it is known as the third ancestor of the human race. But these are just mythological stories, how could they exist in reality? I must have been tired from climbing mountains and had hallucinations due to lack of oxygen in my brain. However, after shaking his head, Yi He still felt the sound constantly ringing in his mind. Even more so, if there is no connection, it seems inexplicably connected to a powerful existence. Yi He's expression immediately startled and he scanned around. Isn't it true? He silently prayed in his heart, but Yi He still found it difficult to believe. Myth shining into reality. Just as Yi He was suspicious, a loud roar suddenly came, and Yi He was startled again. Damn it, what's going on? I cursed inwardly and felt the giant mountain shaking under my feet. The surrounding crowd was in chaos, and various screams kept coming. Looking up, Yi He's face instantly turned pale. Sleeping trough, I really met my ancestors. Looking at the scene in the sky, Yi He's heart was already shocked beyond measure. I saw that the originally clear void was already covered by black clouds, the sky and earth were dim, and the sun and moon were without light. What's even more terrifying is that the good sky gradually cracks open with a huge crack. From the crack, 9 huge objects fell from the sky, like 9 black rivers falling to the ground. Yi He's expression completely froze. Dragon. In Yi He's shocked expression, he was shocked to find that it was 9 huge dragon corpses, pulling a bronze coffin, and pressing down toward the top of Mount Taishan. Damn it, don't play with me. At this moment, Yi He felt like cursing his mother. First, an inexplicable voice from an old ancestor appeared in my mind, and now it's the void crack and the 9 dragons pulling the coffin. Such incidents occurred continuously, and Yi He only felt the collapse of the 3 values he had established over the past 20 years. Is it true that myths really exist? Feeling shocked, I watched as Zhulong's coffin fell from the sky. Yi He shouted without hesitation. Patriarch, help. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Missionary Yi He, Complete Sky Covering Method. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Patriarch, help. Looking at the 9 huge dragon corpses falling from the sky. And a bronze ancient coffin pulled by 9 dragon corpses. Yi He didn't care much anymore and shouted at the sky without any hesitation. After all, it's too late to die. In the thatched cottage. Su Hong looked at Yi He who was in panic on Mount Taishan mountain with interest. In front of Su Hong, the void clearly presented the images of the vast world around Yi He in the era of covering the sky. This is another function of the system, as long as it can establish contact with a certain preacher. Su Hong can locate and observe the target at any time, seeing everything around the object about to preach. Seeing Yi He shouting loudly. Su Hong's gaze flickered slightly. Although he was well aware that this time Yi He was not in any danger. Even more so, they will embark on their invincible path as the protagonist and the son of luck. But after thinking about it, Su Hong still gave a slight guidance on the screen of light in front of him. More precisely, it hit Yi He in the middle of the light curtain. Warm current, it works. Is it really our ancestor? Mythical legends actually exist. On Mount Taishan, Yi He's expression has changed from panic to surprise. Because just now, he found himself shouting along with it. Suddenly, a warm current appeared in my body. Warm water flows into the body, as if it can calm one's mind. He was originally feeling a bit anxious, but in an instant, he became calm. Originally, it was just a moment of life and death, shouting casually in panic. Now it has actually been fulfilled, and at this moment, Yi Hei's heart was pleasantly surprised beyond measure. As they looked at the scene of 9 dragons pulling coffins in the void, they all began to calm down and felt a sense of stability in their hearts. With the support of our ancestors, we are invincible. Yi Hei's expression was once again taken aback as he was secretly surprised in his heart. This time, he heard a loud yet distant voice clearly, echoing in his mind again, and the voice became much clearer. Yi Hei, are you willing to practice the method of becoming an immortal with me? The person who spoke naturally was Su Hong. After all, his main purpose was to preach. I just deepened my connection with Yi Hei, so I naturally want to strike while the iron is hot and pass on the cultivation method. In this way, the connection between the two sides can become closer. Just like now, when he transmitted the message to Yi Hei before, the other party could only listen vaguely. But now you can hear it clearly. Even he himself was able to locate and observe the situation around Yi Hei. Practice. The way to become an immortal. Yi Hei, who had just regained his composure, was instantly awakened. Willing. My ancestors, I am willing. Yi Hei nodded and bowed. The way to become an immortal is not for fools. While speaking, Yi Hei bowed consecutively in the direction of the void. Although the warmth in the body is very comfortable now, the real crisis has not been resolved yet. Mount Taishan is still shaking. The body of a giant dragon like 9 black rivers in the void is pulling a coffin and still continues to fall towards Mount Taishan. Since our ancestors were able to transmit messages through time and space, nature can solve the problem of Zhulong pulling coffins. Looking at the scene, Yi Hei appeared in a hurry. Su Hong naturally understood what Yi Hei was thinking. However, although he has now become more closely connected to the world of the Age of Shadows through Yi Hei, he is still a little short of truly coming. Fortunately, Su Hong was well aware that Yi Hei would not be in any danger this time. Therefore, Su Hong only spoke lightly. Well, as long as you're willing. You don't have to worry about the issue of Zhulong pulling the coffin, there won't be any danger. And because of this incident, you will go to the true place of cultivation. Now I will first teach you the method of cultivation, please listen carefully. Although Yi Hei listened with suspicion, he listened to Su Hongxin's oath. I can only silently remember the cultivation method passed down by Su Hong. This set of cultivation methods was naturally created by Su Hong. This is Su Hong's combination with Yi Hei's physique, creating a method of refining Yi Hei's body. It is still easy for him to create a body refining method that only cultivates to the immortal realm with the realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal. The method of practicing Qi and cultivation will naturally be obtained by Yi Hei when he goes to the Big Dipper star. After passing on the cultivation method for Yi Hei, Su Hong thought for a moment and then leaned towards Yi Hei. A spell penetrated into Yi Hei. Then, Su Hong cut off contact with Yi Hei. After all, Yi Hei's experience this time was destined to be perilous, and he didn't need to interfere too much. And just now, the magic he injected into Yi Hei's body across infinite time and space completely activated Yi Hei's ancient holy body. The effect of doing this is that in the future, Yi Hei will find that the path of the heavenly broken ancient holy body does not exist. The world of the heavenly era is just a lowly vast world, and the heavenly way of this vast world can be easily destroyed as long as he is willing. Continuing the path of cultivating the ancient holy body is naturally the simplest thing. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully spreading the message of Yi Hei, the offspring of the world's Qi fortune in the era of covering the heavens. The system rewards are starting to be distributed. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 preaching points. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the complete cultivation method in the world of the era of covering the heavens. Please continue to work hard and preach more talents to the host. The sound of the system brought Su Hong back to his senses. A simple preaching can earn 1,000 preaching points, which is quite good. According to system rules, locating an ordinary world only requires 10,000 preaching points. Positioning a medium-sized world requires 50,000 preaching points. For a highly positioned world, 200,000 preaching points are needed. As for the top-tier Dacian world, it starts at 500,000 without any upper limit. Although there are few 1,000 preaching points, this is just the beginning, and Su Hong naturally has nothing to be dissatisfied with. Especially, he also obtained a complete cultivation method. Just a brief review. Su Hong was pleasantly surprised to discover the cultivation methods rewarded by the system in the era of covering the heavens not only include the existing cultivation secrets in the era of covering the heavens. Even on the basis of the Luanhai Secret Realm, Daogong Secret Realm, Ciji Secret Realm, Hualong Secret Realm, and Sendai Secret Realm, the sixth secret realm has been extended, which states that raising your head 3 feet has a deity. Simply put, according to the standards of the world of the heavenly age, this is a cultivation method that can directly cultivate to the realm of the Immortal Emperor. According to the system's judgment, the realm of the Immortal Emperor is already equivalent to that of a sage in the vast world. Su Hong was also surprised by this discovery. He originally thought it was just a method that could only be practiced to the level of the Heavenly Emperor, but he didn't expect to go directly to the Immortal Emperor. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, if the system produces, it must be a masterpiece. Taking a deep breath, Su Hong suppressed his inner excitement. Originally, he, the great Luo Golden Immortal, was destined to achieve limited success according to the cultivation standards of the vast world, as he was elevated through the use of heavenly merit. This is also the reason why he has been troubled since his travels. Now, there is a complete cultivation method for the world of covering the sky. Isn't it stable? Stepping out of the thatched cottage, he greeted the people outside. Su Hong immediately began to transform his techniques. Wilderness World. Fairyland Division. Earthly Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Xian Immortal, Golden Immortal, Tai Golden Immortal, Daoyuo Golden Immortal, Hunyuan Golden Immortal, Quasi-Saint, Hunyuan Daoyuo Golden Immortal, Sage, Tian Dao Realm, Hunyuan Wuda Daoyuo Golden Immortal, and Dedeo Realm. The comparison between the world of obscurity and the world of vastness. Emperor. Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal. True Immortal. True Immortal, Xian, Jinxian Quasi-Immortal King, Red Dust Immortal. Tai Golden Immortal Immortal King. De Luo Jin Xian. Emperor Zhuanxian. Hunyuan Jinxian. Zhuansheng. Immortal Emperor. Sage Qingming Outing and Happy Reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. NU's attention, I am the Immortal King. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Luanhai Secret Realm. Daogong Secret Realm. The Four Extreme Secret Realm. Sendai Secret Realm. Due to Su Hong's inherent high level of cultivation, coupled with the unique conditions of cultivation in the vast world. So the conversion method went exceptionally smoothly. With just a few breaths of effort, Su Hong, relying on his super strong realm, quickly cultivated to the secret realm of Sendai. Then, after a few more breaths. Sendai Secret Realm, break it. After breaking through the secret realm of Sendai and entering the sixth secret realm of cultivation. With the spiritual turmoil between heaven and earth, it constantly converges towards the thatched cottage. After practicing the quasi-immortal king realm recorded in the sky covering technique, he continued to violently absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth for a while. It wasn't until Su Hong noticed that the speed of absorbing spiritual energy began to slow down that he reopened his eyes. Upon examining his own realm, Su Hong's eyes showed a hint of enlightenment. So it seems. The great Luo Golden Immortal, who was cultivated using the merit of the heavenly way, has a true strength equivalent to that of a quasi-immortal king, but its realm is the immortal king realm. Juansheng is the realm of Juanxian Emperor. He is a great Luo Jingxian who has been cultivated using the merits of the heavenly way, and there is naturally a big gap between him and the true great Luo Jingxian. Now that I have reached the limit of practicing as a quasi-immortal king, although the speed of absorbing spiritual energy has slowed down a bit, I clearly did not feel the existence of realm levels. After a brief comparison, Su Hong made a guess. Subsequently, Su Hong continued to close his eyes. I finally converted my martial arts skills and even reached the limit of being a quasi-immortal king all the way, almost achieving the immortal king realm, which is the normal realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal. Su Hong naturally wanted to rush over with one go. As Su Hong once again exerted all his strength to use his martial arts, the endless spiritual energy between heaven and earth began to erupt once again. This made countless people in the human tribe unable to resist looking towards the thatched cottage where Su Hong was located. What are our ancestors doing? Didn't I just cultivate the great Luo Golden Immortal with the blessing of heavenly merit before? Has this broken through again? It's impossible. The Luo Jin Xian is known as a great expert and a great supernatural being. Even among the most powerful witches and demons at present, they are considered strong. Breaking through the realm is not so easy. Can you explain and explain? What is the current situation? It depends on the speed at which our ancestors devour spiritual energy, not what it is to break through the realm. Well, it's strange. At a time when countless human races were feeling puzzled by Su Yang's cultivation. In the chaotic void, Wa Palace. Nyua suddenly opened her eyes and looked at the direction of the vast land in confusion. The aura of the human race has actually increased significantly. What's going on? Previously, Suiren successfully drilled wood to start a fire, and with the blessing of heavenly merit, he cultivated the great Luo Golden Immortal. At that time, the human race's luck did not increase much as it does now. The sudden increase now is a big event happening. As the Holy Mother of the human race, Nyua naturally pays close attention to the movements of the human race at all times. Previously, the Suiren clan drilled wood to start a fire, causing the heavenly Tao to vibrate, resulting in the downfall of merit and an increase in the vitality of the human race. She sensed something and checked the situation of the human race. It has only been a while since then, and the luck of the human race has actually increased by a certain extent. Staring towards the direction of the vast land, Nyua's eyes suddenly burst into a divine light. After a moment, Nyua's gaze flickered as she stared at the thatched cottage where Su Hong was, and her mind suddenly shook. As a saint, even though separated by endless time and space, Nyua still had a clear understanding of the situation inside the thatched cottage. The method of cultivation. And it's also a brand new way of cultivation. It seems like we are going to break through the realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal. Looking at the situation inside the thatched cottage, Nyua was deeply moved and couldn't believe her eyes. For her, it is not impossible to create a cultivation method suitable for the human race. But if it involves the realm of the Luo Jin Xian, even she will need some effort. After all, the Luo Jin Xian is not an ordinary person and can be called a great supernatural being. As a result, a human race who had just used their heavenly merit to cultivate the great Luo Golden Immortal created a suitable method for human cultivation in the blink of an eye, and it seemed to have been successful. This is like making her a saint and now creating a method that can directly cultivate into a saint. It's impossible, it's impossible. But a human race, on the other hand, has achieved it. The shock in Nyua's heart can be imagined. After taking a deep breath, Nyua's mood finally calmed down a bit. Watching Su Hong still struggling to break through the realm. Nyua's eyes flickered, and a slight smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. She then took a step forward and her figure had disappeared into the Hua Palace, appearing in Su Hong's thatched cottage. Then Hua pointed out. With a tremor from heaven and earth, within the small thatched cottage, a myriad of rays of light instantly shone and countless paths converged. Outside the thatched cottage, the same world is revealed through countless paths, with spiritual energy surging in. Su Hong immediately sensed and was about to open his eyes to check. A dull voice has already arrived. Don't be distracted. Breaking through the realm with peace of mind. Listening to the voice being a female voice, Su Hong's heart suddenly shook and he had a guess in his heart. Being able to appear silently by his side, making him unaware and willing to help him break through the realm. I'm afraid there won't be many after countless floods and hardships. And the other party is also a fairy. Is Hua a saint? With a secret message in his heart, Su Hong immediately quickly activated his martial arts and began to charge towards the realm of the Immortal King. Originally, he estimated that it would take some time to become the Immortal King. Now that there are saints helping, it naturally becomes much easier. After just a few breaths, a large amount of spiritual energy was absorbed into Su Hong's body under the cover of the myriad paths of heaven and earth. The momentum on Su Hong's body suddenly bloomed and intensified dramatically. Immortal King Realm, success. Seeking collection, flowers, monthly tickets, evaluation tickets. On the first day of the new book, all the big shots move their little fingers Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Baolian Lamp, Yi Hei seeks help again. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Successfully cultivated the realm of Immortal King. Becoming a true Honghuang Daoyuo Jingxian. Su Hong didn't have time to be happy in his heart. Immediately, he opened his eyes and looked into the thatched cottage, a blurry figure shrouded in countless rays of rosy light. This figure stands in front of me, as if standing in the depths of infinite time and space. The myriad paths of heaven and earth constantly manifest around me, rippling and fluctuating in time and space. Even in his current realm as an immortal king, he doesn't see it very clearly. It's like watching flowers in the mist, a hazy scene. Su Hong's heart trembled and he immediately bowed slightly. Young man, thank you very much for the help of Empress Hua. Oh, how do you know it's me? Hua's cold voice slowly rang out. Su Hong immediately spoke up. In the world of chaos, there are many things that cannot be seen through the realm of little Luo Jingxian. But there are not many who can surpass the Luo Jinxian and are willing to help the boy and the human race. And there are even fewer who can gather countless paths and bodies in the wilderness. So the boy boldly guessed that the Empress was present. Hua seemed to remain silent for a moment before speaking up. You're very good. As a saint, when Su Hong had just started practicing, Hua had already carefully examined Su Hong inside and outside. Even she never expected that Su Hong would have a broad mind and start from various organs in the human body, creating a new method of cultivation. All the methods of cultivation in the world of floods and wastelands are different today. Make her, as a saint, feel a bit inferior. After speaking, Hua's mind moved and the endless glow inside the thatched cottage dissipated. I saw a woman with starry eyes, creamy skin, and a rosy complexion, wearing a white long dress, slowly appearing not far away. Su Hong looked up and met Hua's eyes. Immediately, he felt his mental consciousness being sucked into the vast starry sky. In the depths of this vast starry sky, there seems to be a figure standing tall. At a glance, it shook Su Hong's spirit. Su Hong was startled and quickly lowered his head. For the first time, he deeply felt the profound and unfathomable nature of the sage, which made people dare not look directly at him. Can you tell me how a great Luo Jingxian, who utilized the merits of the heavenly way to cultivate, suddenly created such a brand new cultivation method? It even allowed you to cultivate to the realm of the Luo Jin Xian. Here we go. Su Hong knew that Nyuwa wouldn't appear for no reason. Since she came, she must ask this question. Fortunately, he was just having a conversation with Nyuwa. I have already rehearsed the response plan in my heart. Report to the Empress. Actually, a long time ago, the boy wanted to create more cultivation methods suitable for the human race. I have already deduced countless times in my heart before. Not long ago, the boy drilled into wood to start a fire, gaining the favor of the heavenly way and descending merit. At the moment of integrating the merits of the heavenly way, the boy seemed to have a sudden enlightenment and successfully perfected the method of cultivation. Before, it was also my first time trying to cultivate, and I didn't expect it to be really successful. Is that so? There seemed to be a faint smile in Nyuwa's voice. Su Hong dared not look up and make eye contact with Nyuwa again, just nodded. It's okay. Nyuwa's voice came again. I don't know if she truly believed it or if she saw through it but didn't say it. You have now cultivated into the great Luo Golden Immortal. Although you may not be considered top in the world of chaos, you have barely gained the power to protect yourself. I see you haven't found a magic weapon yet. This lotus lamp is a top-quality spiritual treasure from birth. Now that I don't need it, I'll give it to you. Nyuwa's words made Su Hong smile bitterly in her heart. He is a great Luo Jingxian, a fairy king, and in the mouth of Nyuwa, he can only be considered as barely having the power to protect himself. He also didn't know how to roast. You're a saint, you're amazing, come on. However, I heard that there was actually an innate top-grade spiritual treasure bestowed upon me. Su Hong suddenly felt a sense of joy in his heart and quickly spoke up, "Thank you very much, madam." As soon as Su Hong finished speaking, he noticed an additional magic weapon in front of him, which was 9 inches tall, completely white, like ice and snow. This magical treasure is shaped like a lotus, the size of a sea bowl, and the lotus heart serves as a wick. What is not a Baolian lamp? As a traveler, Su Hong is naturally quite familiar with this magic weapon. Knowing that this is a comprehensive treasure that combines warning, defense, attack, and healing. It is said to be an innate top-grade spiritual treasure, but compared to an innate top-grade spiritual treasure, it is not much different. And this magic weapon is different from other innate spiritual treasures. It is a direct recognition of the master, without the need for laborious refining techniques to prohibit it. Unexpectedly, Nyuwa would generously bestow such treasures. Su Hong naturally felt grateful from the bottom of his heart. Well, nowadays there is frequent conflict between the two races of witches and demons in the wilderness. The order of heaven and earth is chaotic. Although you have cultivated the great Luo Golden Immortal, you still need to be careful and cautious. Only by cultivating the great Luo Golden Immortal can you be complacent. I am giving you a magic weapon, hoping that you will protect the good people. Do you understand? The cold voice of Nyuwa came. Su Hong nodded again. Don't worry, madam. I will definitely not let down your good intentions. After Su Hong finished speaking, he only felt a flash of rosy light inside the thatched cottage, followed by another dim light. When Su Hong looked up again, there were no more people inside the thatched cottage. Did you leave? Su Hong breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Picking up the lotus lamp and taking a few more glances, a faint smile couldn't help but appear. This wave is not a loss. After a simple recognition of the master, Su Hong incorporated the Baolian lamp into the Yuanshan. Now that you have reached the realm of the immortal king, you have also been protected by the top-quality spiritual treasures from birth. Finally, I have a bit of the orthodox appearance of the Luo Jin Xian. Thinking happily in my heart. Su Hong's expression suddenly froze. In a faint moment, I could only feel a vague sound constantly echoing in my mind. Well, what's going on? Listening attentively, Su Hong finally understood. Patriarch, help. Old ancestors, help me. Sleeping trough, what happened to this kid again? Su Hong was speechless. Although I understand that as the son of Qi Luck, Yi He is not so easy to die. But after thinking about it, Su Hong still started to communicate with the system. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Sparkling Ancient Stars, Manifestation of Spirits. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Just as Su Hong was preparing the communication system. At this time, Nu Hua has returned to the Hua Palace. Backed on the seat in the main hall, Nu Hua propped her hand on her pure white chin, and her eyes couldn't help but look towards the direction of the vast land, with an indifferent smile. I don't know how much truth that kid has in his mouth. With a low voice, Nu Hua closed her eyes. Sparkling ancient stars. This is an abandoned ancient star. After obtaining the cultivation method passed down by Su Hong, Yi He. As expected by Su Hong, he took the 9 dragons coffin and embarked on the path of starry sky. However, at this moment, above the ancient stars that are shining, Yi He's expression was full of anxiety. Beside Yi He, there were many others, all shouting and running towards the direction of Jiulong's coffin in fear, and many of them looked even more desperate. Only Yi He still had hope in his heart, running while muttering something in his mouth. At the same time, beside Yi He, a stout young man with a broken vajra pestle in his hand could not help complaining to Yi He as he ran. Xiaoye, didn't you say that you have already passed down the immortal cultivation method from your ancestors? Damn it, what are you running for? Hurry up and beat them to death. The robust young man was speaking when he suddenly let out a scream of surprise. Ah! Go away. Don't bite my butt. Behind the young man, a creature the size of a finger was biting fiercely on the buttocks of the sturdy man. The sturdy young man felt anxious and waved the broken diamond pestle in his hand, then hit his buttocks. I saw a flash of golden light on the broken diamond pestle, and immediately killed the unknown creature. However, at the same moment, the robust young man also gritted his teeth in pain and let out a loud pain. Ha ha ha. Seeing this, Yi He, although extremely nervous in his heart, couldn't help but burst out laughing. And around the two, there were also some other young men and women who couldn't help but shout loudly. Panghua, don't be foolish. Just like Yi He, what kind of ancestral tradition is definitely fabricated? You also believe this kind of nonsense. Everyone should hurry and run towards the bronze ancient coffin. Once there, perhaps it will be safe. Everyone was running and talking, constantly approaching the bronze ancient coffin, as if wishing to have 4 more legs, but couldn't help but sarcastically mock Yi He. At this stage of the field, everyone's life and death are unpredictable, and many people speak without any hesitation. You all shut up. I believe what Xiaoye said. Haven't you noticed that Xiaoye's strength has just increased significantly, and she can now throw a huge stone with one hand, giving her a bit of a Shakyamuni throwing elephant feeling. Seeing Yi He being mocked, Pomperton angrily exclaimed. Others don't know, but he knows. After arriving at this unknown ancient star, Yi He's power seemed to continue to increase, as if a certain switch had been turned on. Therefore, he firmly believed that Yi He must have inherited the teachings from his ancestors. On the contrary, Yi He smiled indifferently. After all, it is an undeniable fact that he did indeed inherit the teachings of his ancestors. He had not felt it before on the blue star. But upon arriving on this planet, he was already able to sense the spiritual energy mentioned in the cultivation method. Therefore, Yi He just gave a glance to Pang Bo, indicating not to say much. Then the two of them quickly ran towards the bronze ancient coffin, which may be the only survival opportunity on this ancient star. If we can use this to leave the ancient star, perhaps we can regain a life. At the same time, while running quickly, Yi He kept shouting loudly in his heart. But at this moment, the entire ancient star suddenly trembled, and above the pitch-black ancient star, it suddenly seemed like 2 full moons had risen, shimmering with a cold light. Immediately afterwards, a somewhat excited voice suddenly remembered. Well, this kind of aura. What a powerful feeling, Emperor. This is the Emperor's breath. No, even stronger than the Emperor, immortals. Do there really exist immortals? Roaming and rumbling. In an instant, the entire shattered ancient star trembled once again. Ah! What is that? Someone immediately couldn't help but scream in terror. Eyes, those are eyes. Such big eyes, demon, it's over, we've encountered a demon. Is what was just written on the monument true? Buddha Amitabha really suppressed demons here. Help, who will save me? At this moment, everyone was stunned, staring at the huge eyes in the sky like a full moon, and many people's legs began to tremble. Some people were so scared that they let out a splash and collapsed to the ground. Yi Hei's mind suddenly tightened. What surprised Yi Hei even more was that at the same time, a faint voice suddenly came to his ears. Little Leaf, what's going on? How do I feel like that demon is looking at you? At this moment, Pang Bo was also a bit scared and foolish. But in the end, he was still a nervous and teasing person, unable to resist teasing Yi Hei. Yi Hei's heart trembled and he immediately glared at Pang Bo. My grass, Pang Bo, quickly close your crow's mouth. Run quickly. With a loud shout, Yi Hei ran faster. Because he felt like he was really being targeted by this huge demon. Well, the ants of the human race. Where do you want to go? Suddenly, a roaring sound exploded above the ancient star. Then, accompanied by the constant vibration of the ancient star, an incredibly huge monster suddenly crawled out of the ground. Crocodile. Crocodile. This time, Yi Hei finally saw the full face of the demon and couldn't help but widen his eyes. He has seen crocodiles before, but this is the first time he has seen such a large crocodile. Ants, this place is the ancestor of crocodiles. Say, you are an ant with no cultivation, how could you have the aura of an emperor in your body? After the crocodile ancestor showed his body, a hint of cunning and cruelty flashed through his huge pupils, and he opened his mouth to Yi Hei. Yi Hei's face twitched instantly from the smoke. Nima, it smells so bad. Yi Hei cursed inwardly, feeling extremely scared, but he still pretended to be calm and spoke up. What kind of demons and monsters do you care about? Listen carefully, I am the ancestor of the Sui people. Demon, if you have a good understanding, you should quickly step down. In the huge pupils of the crocodile ancestor, a hint of suspicion suddenly appeared. Suiren ancestor, how dare you deceive me? The crocodile ancestor opened his big mouth and couldn't help but feel angry. He also came from a blue star across the starry sky, how could he believe such nonsense? Ants, no matter who you are. Having arrived here today can only be considered as your bad luck. Once our ancestors swallow your flesh and refine your soul, we'll know what's going on. The crocodile ancestor's huge mouth seemed to bite out a huge gap in the void and devoured Yi Hei. Yi Hei couldn't help but shout loudly. Ancestor, if you don't show up again, your disciples will die. Help. Patriarch, help. Sparkling ancient stars. Crocodile ancestor. Suhong's communication system, locate Yi Hei's location, and the first thing you see is the scene of Yi Hei shouting for help. In Su Hong's eyes, a killing intent immediately flashed through. With a mental movement, Su Hong pointed towards Yi Hei's body in the picture. A mere demon saint, even with the help of Yi Hei's hand, only a little bit of his strength is enough to annihilate. However, when Su Hong's fingertips were about to touch Yi Hei in the picture, Su Hong's expression suddenly froze. Well, that's not right. How do you feel that suddenly, it feels like the connection with the world of the sky-covering era has become even closer? Could it be that under Yi Hei's fear, his trust in me has multiplied? Finally, it has elevated my connection with the Age of Shadows world once again. So, that's easy to handle. After a simple attempt, Su Hong's eyes lit up with joy. Previously, he could only transmit some power, sound, and information to Yi He through the images formed by the system. Now, with just a simple attempt, I can actually have my mind descend. With a movement of his mind, Su Hong immediately projected a ray of divine thought into the scene before him. Time and space are reversed, and this wisp of divine consciousness flies out, connecting endless time and space. In an instant, it manifests on the ancient star of the world. Just for a moment. Above the shimmering ancient star, the endless Milky Way begins to reverse, and the myriad paths of heaven and earth manifest. The consciousness of heaven and earth also begins to constantly roar. Endless purple energy appeared out of thin air, drowning billions of miles of void. Above the shimmering ancient star, everyone stared at the towering vision in the starry sky with wide eyes, and once again froze in place. Even the crocodile ancestor was stunned by the sudden manifestation of a vision between heaven and earth. How could this be possible? Even if the ancient emperor was born, it could not be like this. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. The old ancestor reappears, kill the crocodile ancestor. You are listening at novel full.audio. On the shimmering ancient star. Su Hong's wisp of divine thought crossed time and space, and immediately absorbed the essence of the universe to replenish himself. After a moment, as the Milky Way reversed, 10,000 paths shook. Endless cosmic essence and the light of the sun, moon, and stars are absorbed. This wisp of divine consciousness only faintly manifests its form in the endless purple aura. Old Ancestor. Looking at the light and shadow in the purple sky, Yi He felt a little unconfident. Although he firmly believed that his ancestors were strong, he never expected them to be so strong. Last time, I could only talk to him through time and space, but now it has descended directly in front of him, everything seems so unreal. Yi Blackie was stunned and began to tie his knot when he spoke. Ancestors. Upon hearing Yi He's words, the other people who had already been desperate suddenly showed hope in their eyes. Xiaoya, are you really the ancestor of Suiren? Yi He, are you? Are you telling the truth? Is it really the ancestor of our human race's Suiren? The others didn't think too much, just looked at Su Hong, who was shrouded in endless visions with a shocked expression, each with an excited expression. The sudden surprise of finding a way out of nowhere even made many people's eyes turn red uncontrollably. Patriarch, please save us. Kill this big demon, many people have died. Ancestor. Woo-woo. Seeing the expressions of Yi He and others, the crocodile ancestor's face instantly changed. Impossible, there's no such thing as the Suiren clan, it's just a mythological legend. Even the ancient emperor could only live for 10,000 years, and even Shakyamuni died. How could an old man from a mythological legend still be alive? I don't believe it. He also comes from the Blue Star and has heard some mythological stories passed down by the human race to some extent. Facing the towering vision in the starry sky, my mind was still a bit anxious and uneasy. Now that Yi He and others have said so, their hearts have calmed down quite a bit. With a roar in his heart, the crocodile ancestor's eyes emitted two brilliant divine lights. He immediately looked towards Su Hong, who was still swallowing endless starlight. Crocodile Zuduan's expression turned cold and he burst out laughing coldly. Ha ha ha. What is the ancestor of Suiren? I thought it was something sacred, but it turned out to be just a dead old thing. Now that he has died but not stiffened, a strand of divine mansion thoughts has reappeared. How dare you pretend to be a god or a ghost in front of me? It has a certain level, indicating that Su Hong's manifestation is not his true body, but only a ray of divine consciousness. It is natural to regard Su Hong's divine thoughts as a strand of divine mansion thoughts. With a roar, the crocodile ancestor immediately burst out with endless evil energy, shrouded in black mist, and instantly submerged towards the void. But at this moment, the starry sky fell silent, and the Milky Way remained still. Su Hong finally slowly looked towards the crocodile ancestor on the earth. You have some level. But you, a monster, dare to kill our race. Death is not worth cherishing. With a faint voice, Su Hong's eyes immediately emitted two brilliant divine lights. In an instant, heaven and earth shook violently, and time and space exploded. In an instant, a huge crack was cut through the void. This made the originally confident crocodile ancestor's expression instantly terrifying. Impossible. How could it possibly cut through the void with just one glance? Are you really the resurrection of the ancient emperor? With a frightened shout, the crocodile ancestor suddenly struggled violently. However, there is no egg use. In the void, cracks streaked through, and the huge body of the crocodile ancestor instantly broke in two, slamming heavily onto the ground. Su Hong pointed out and a wisp of immortal light flew out, hitting the head of the upper body of the crocodile ancestor, completely destroying its spiritual consciousness. Everyone stared blankly at everything. Seeing the demon, who was originally full of demonic energy and invincible, he died like this. An indescribable shock immediately surged in everyone's hearts. Yi Hei took a deep breath before suppressing his excitement and shock, and was about to step forward. But I didn't expect someone to be even faster than him, like a rabbit, and instantly rushed to Su Hong's feet, bowing and bowing. I beg my ancestors to accept me as their disciple. Yi Hei was stunned and immediately became furious. Good Pang Bo, you're looking for death. Face to face, compete with me for our ancestors. The others were also stunned. One by one, they were shocked by Pang Bo's rough handling. However, upon reflection, many people couldn't help but show a hint of emotion in their eyes. But not everyone has the courage of Pompeii. Facing a strong person who can easily turn the Milky Way upside down with a wave of his hand, he can still calmly say those words. Even that person, theoretically, is the ancestor of everyone. Su Hong was also amused by this kid's teasing nature, causing him to shake his head and laugh. After all, he was originally just a handsome young man in his 20s. With a faint glance at Pang Bo, Su Hong didn't speak, but looked at Yi Hei. You come over. Upon hearing this, Yi Hei was overjoyed and immediately ran to Su Hong with a thud. Young man, pay respects to our ancestors. Su Hong nodded, then suddenly reached out and walked towards the body of the crocodile ancestor. Although this monster is nothing to me. But now that you have just embarked on the path of cultivation, coupled with your special physique, the essence and blood of this monster can help you lay a solid foundation, so that you can achieve twice the result with half the effort in your future cultivation. As he spoke, the massive body of the crocodile ancestor was instantly refined into a dark red essence. Su Hong bent his finger and flicked a bullet. This essence was flown into Yi Hei's body and eventually fell silent in his land of the Wheel Sea. Everyone couldn't help but blush as they watched this scene. Just now, everyone saw the tremendous power of the crocodile ancestor. Now, it is such a powerful demon that has been refined into a ball of essence and blood by the ancestors, and has infiltrated Yi Hei's body. So doesn't it mean that in the future, Yi Hei can at least become a powerful practitioner like the crocodile ancestor? For a moment, everyone's eyes towards Su Hong began to glow. Pang Bo's mouth watered with envy. Only Yi Hei's expression darkened and he suddenly whispered, Ancestor, are you leaving? Although it's my first time meeting Su Hong. But for Su Hong's help, Yi Hei felt quite grateful in his heart. Thinking that old Su Hong might be leaving soon, Yi Hei felt quite reluctant in his heart. Su Hong was momentarily taken aback, then a cold smile appeared on his face, his gaze seemingly piercing through the void and looking deep into the starry sky. Let's go. Since I came, how could I leave so easily? Exactly, this time we solved everything at once. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Leading the Beidou, Forcing the Ancient Supreme. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. On the shimmering ancient star. Su Hong's gaze crossed time and space, looking deep into the boundless starry sky with a hint of regret and coldness in his eyes. Although Yi He couldn't understand Su Hong's meaning. But when Su Hong heard that he was not leaving yet, he couldn't help but show a smile on his face. The others looked equally delighted. Now everyone is trapped on this ancient star, feeling a bit anxious and uneasy. Now that Su Hong is not leaving for the time being, he immediately feels at ease and grateful to this legendary ancestor. Thank you very much for your mercy, our ancestors. Let's go. Su Hong didn't provide much explanation either. Now, through his connection with Yi He, he has been able to successfully bring a strand of divine thought across time and space. He actually wants to know what kind of connection he will have with this world after preaching in the Beidou. Will it be possible to directly take people away from here and enter the wilderness, or can it be possible to lock in this world at any time and integrate it with the origin of the wilderness? With a faint voice, Su Hong's gaze fell on the distant nine-dragon coffin. Looking at this ancient coffin, Su Hong naturally knew what was buried inside and sighed silently in his heart. Su Hong raised his hand and gently waved it, revealing endless immortal light. He immediately wrapped the nine dragons' corpse and coffin. The nine-dragon chants resound through the heavens and earth, shaking in all directions. Bathed in endless fairy light, it rose up into the sky and disappeared into the vast universe and starry sky. Let this coffin be quietly buried in the starry sky. As the words fell, a fairy light rose from Su Hong's body, leading everyone towards the depths of the universe. Beidou Star Domain. Burial of Emperor Star. This ancient supreme star. At the moment when Su Hong's divine thought descended and caused countless vibrations. Above this supreme star, within some ancient forbidden areas, a pair of cold eyes opened in unison. Is there someone about to become a Tao, as the heavens and earth shake, the purple air stretches and the starry sky shakes? I didn't expect that in this era, there are still people who can stand out and be about to preach, but they also have some talent. Being able to cultivate to such a level under our noses is not a small ambition. Humph, it's just a lucky person. When he reaches enlightenment, it's the day he falls. I haven't tasted the taste of Emperor's blood since it's already good. A series of cold sounds collided in the void, and various forbidden areas suddenly began to rise with powerful momentum, intimidating the endless starry sky, and the universe began to tremble continuously. The sudden and tremendous change that came suddenly made countless creatures anxious and uneasy. Even among various sacred aristocratic families and ancient dynasties, there is still a sense of unease, and many people gaze at the universe and stars, feeling extremely nervous. The world is in turmoil, and the purple energy is condensed. This is a sign that someone is about to preach. Now that the major restricted areas are in turmoil, it is suspected that a supreme being is about to be born. Is this to hunt down this cultivator? I'm afraid that when Emperor Qing falls, it will be the time of cosmic turmoil. Many people murmured to themselves and looked at the imperial soldiers in their clan, their expressions filled with nervousness. An inexplicable emotion began to spread on the burial Emperor Star. This ancient supreme star seems to have fallen into silence at this moment. Well, what's going on? With Yi He and others crossing the endless starry sky, Su Hong appeared above the Big Dipper and immediately discovered something unusual. As his gaze swept over this star, Su Hong immediately understood what was going on, and his eyes immediately turned cold. I see. I haven't found you yet. You guys are thinking about me first. Since that's the case, I'll give you this opportunity. At this moment, Su Hong no longer concealed his own breath. In an instant, all the paths of heaven and earth in the sky above the burial Emperor star appeared together, the Milky Way turned upside down, and a purple aura filled the air, with endless visions constantly flashing. In such a scene, even those who were used to seeing Yi He and others still felt a sense of emotional shock and couldn't help but feel it. Burial on the Emperor's star. Countless creatures were stunned at this moment. Everyone looked at the strange sight in the sky, excited and unable to control themselves. Emperor, this is the birth of our great emperor. Someone shouted loudly, and the previously silent Emperor burial star suddenly became lively. Countless people were excited and rushed around to tell each other. Impossible. How could someone become a Taoist without being robbed by Emperor Sheng? Fake and mischievous things, no one has survived Emperor Sheng's calamity and become a Taoist. No one dares to cross the imperial tribulation, nor dare they come here to show their authority and seek death. I can't bathe in imperial blood, it's also good to bathe in the bone blood of a Taoist. In the various penalty areas, the supreme beings immediately had a cold expression and their eyes were filled with murderous intent. As the former ancient emperor, they have all successfully proven themselves in the world, dominating the 8 wastelands of the universe and making all spirits submit. Everyone has invincible confidence. There is a unique understanding of the path to enlightenment. However, in order to make one's own path compatible with all other paths, Emperor Sheng's calamity is an essential process. There is no imperial calamity falling in the universe today. They naturally prefer to believe that the newcomer is just a Taoist who has not yet overcome the imperial calamity. Surround and kill this person, soak their bones and blood. In this way, we can rest in peace for a period of time, waiting for the road to immortality to open. Accompanied by a cold sound. In some forbidden areas, figures immediately walked out one after another. These figures strode out like dragons and tigers, stepping out of the air. The spread of its power immediately caused turmoil in the heavens and earth, and the radiance of the sun, moon, and stars dimmed. The entire universe is beginning to experience turbulence. Such a situation once again made the endless creatures who had thought the great emperor was born fearful and uneasy. The ancient imperial dynasties, which have been passed down for a long time, are filled with voices of terror from various sacred families. Eternal Heavenly Sovereign. Shi Huang. Lord of Reincarnation. Xiaoyao Tianzuan. Crazy, crazy. For ancient supreme beings emerged together, it's a disaster. Quickly, 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 prepare the imperial army. In the starry sky. Yi He and others gazed at the direction of the earth from afar, watching the majestic figures of the universe, and couldn't help but be shocked. They never expected that there would be such terrifying characters in the world they lived in, and they pitifully thought that all the mythological stories were just legends. Only Su Hong, looking coldly at the directions of the major penalty areas, frowned slightly. Surprisingly, only 4 people came out. I'm actually holding my breath. Since that's the case. Su Hong took a deep breath, accompanied by the oscillation of the universe and stars, endless cosmic essence swept in from all directions. Su Hong's body began to glow. After a moment, Su Hong stopped breathing. In Su Hong's body, the divine treasures of the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and stomach also began to shine. After a moment, 5 brilliant figures emerged from these 5 great treasures, streaking through the air with flowing lights and falling towards the direction of the major penalty areas. On the earth, there were immediately several sounds of anger and shock. Arrogant. Ignorant child, seek death. A Taoist temple deity dares to attack, such a contemptuous and ignorant thing. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Supreme Anger, Snap Fingers in Seconds, Ancient Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Beidou Star Domain. Everyone is paying attention to the war in the starry sky. But when Su Hong sent 5 Taoist palace gods, he dared to confront the Supreme One and kill them in various forbidden areas. While countless people were deeply moved, they were all foolish. Even a flawless emperor would require a great deal of effort to slay an ancient supreme being, as he could potentially suffer losses in the battle against the ancient supreme being. After all, every supreme being is a former great emperor and ancient emperor, who can be elevated to the fullest at any time and regain the level of a great emperor's combat power. Taking a deep breath, everyone's minds tightened at this moment, unable to understand Su Hong's thoughts. Only a few angry voices could be heard from within the major penalty areas. Chongqing Heavenly Sovereign, Honghuang, Reincarnation Lord, and Xiaoyao Heavenly Sovereign also have a cold expression. As former emperors and emperors, they have never been so despised by anyone. Seeking death, since you are so impatient, I will send you back to the west now. Even if you are the flawless emperor, you should not underestimate us so much, let alone a mere cultivator. If you hide, it will take some effort for us to find you. Now that we are actively seeking death, don't blame us. Who gave you the courage to cross the tribulation without starting? The 4 of them had a cold expression on their faces, and as they spoke, they took steps out, accompanied by the manifestation of the myriad paths of heaven and earth, and arrived at the starry sky. From 4 different directions, Su Hong was surrounded in the middle. After seeing Su Hong's true face clearly, Honghuang couldn't help but sneer. I thought he was some amazing person. It turned out to be just a manifestation of divine thoughts. My emperor said that in this world, when will there be an additional practitioner of enlightenment? The faces of Chongqing Tianzuan, Xiaoyao Tianzuan, and the Lord of Reincarnation also turned cold, with a look full of murderous intent. You're really damn it. Wasting our longevity Yuan, we will surely defeat you to ashes. In ancient times, the Supreme One fell asleep and sealed himself in a forbidden zone. Every time he awakened, he consumed his own lifespan. They originally thought that Su Hong was a practitioner of Taoism. Even if awakening consumes some Su Shouyuan, as long as one can bathe in the bone and blood of a practitioner, it can not only compensate for this loss, but also enhance one's own source of life. At this moment, I see Su Hong's real face. All 4 of them felt tricked and their expressions immediately became cold. Honghuang, hurry up and take action. A deity's thoughts, even if they die, they will not live peacefully. Such deceit deceives us, and we will not hesitate to die. As the Eternal Heavenly Lord, the Lord of Reincarnation, and the Heavenly Lord of Xiaoyao spoke, their gaze turned to various parts of the universe, and a cold smile appeared at the corners of their mouths. It seems that we need to feed once again in the universe. We happen to have 4 people, each choosing a direction. Honghuang, we're waiting for you. As he spoke, the Eternal Heavenly Lord, the Lord of Reincarnation, and the Wandering Heavenly Lord were about to step away. However, as soon as the few people raised their feet, they saw a brilliant divine light shining across the universe, and a tremendous pressure fell on them. The expressions of the Lord of Reincarnation, the Eternal Heavenly Lord, and the Carefree Heavenly Lord were suddenly startled. Looking back, he saw divine lights flying out of Su Hong's body, instantly enveloping the entire starry sky. There are some tricks involved. But even if you were once an impeccable emperor, now you are just a trace of afterlife. I really thought you could protect this universe. If you ask us to leave now, we can still eat less. Otherwise, we will have a big battle together, and our consumption will be too high, so we will have a bit too much to eat. When all the spirits fall, it should be your responsibility. Even if the body is fixed, the Lord of Reincarnation, the Eternal Heavenly Lord, and the Free Heavenly Lord remain incredibly calm. This is their confidence as the ancient emperor and emperor. Even with the presence of the emperor, it is impossible for them to bow their heads, let alone a divine thought. Honghuang also gave a cold smile and looked at Su Hong with indifferent eyes. If you retreat now, you will avoid a disaster. How would you choose? If possible, Emperor Shi naturally did not want to fight against a deity Nian, so he threatened. Su Hong's eyes had already turned cold, and he looked around the four of them, couldn't help but sneer. How to choose? Of course I chose to kill you rotten things. Death. After speaking, Su Hong pointed it out. In an instant, the sky exploded and the Milky Way reversed. A brilliant immortal light flew out from Su Hong's fingers, transforming into a vast network of laws, enveloping the world in all directions. Shi Huang, who was directly opposite Su Hong, immediately felt a deadly threat. How could it be possible? Even the flawless emperor couldn't have been so strong. Besides, you are just a divine idea. Are you a deity with no beginning or falling behind? No, even if there is no beginning in the world, it cannot be so strong. Under the deadly threat, Shi Huangdu became somewhat incoherent. As a former ancient emperor, he understood very well how powerful that realm was. However, at this moment, Su Hong's casual strike exceeded the limit of the realm of the ancient emperor, which made Shi Huang's mind go crazy for a moment and he couldn't accept it. At this moment, the Lord of Reincarnation, the eternal heavenly sovereign, and the free heavenly sovereign also changed their colors and their expressions trembled. However, it's not yet time for the three of them to take any action. The immortal light fell, the sky exploded, and the stone emperor had instantly turned into a pool of bone and blood. Shi Huang, die. The Lord of Reincarnation, Chongqing Heavenly Lord, and Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord looked at everything with a shocked and angry expression. At the same time as his mind was filled with anger, it was also filled with fear. Kill an ancient emperor with one finger. How powerful does this really require? It is not the realm that the great emperor should possess. Even though Wuxia was born in the past and was so intimidating that he dared not stand up in the major penalty areas, his combat power was far from reaching such a terrifying level. Understanding that it was already a moment of life and death, the Lord of Reincarnation immediately shouted out. Quick, sublimate to the fullest. We fought with him. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Continuously killing the supreme, life and death escape. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the starry sky. As Shi Huang was swiftly killed with a single move, there was no trace of resistance left. The Lord of Reincarnation, Chongqing Heavenly Lord, and Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord no longer had the confidence they had just had. In a moment of shock and anger, the primordial spirit began to shine, striving to achieve ultimate sublimation in making a desperate effort. However, the three of them have not yet taken any action. On the land of the eastern wilderness, earth-shattering waves have already arrived, shaking the endless starry sky. Accompanied by a series of frightened roars. Impossible. False, everything is false. A Taoist temple deity, how could it be so strong? Die for me. Listen to the deafening roar. In the various restricted areas, once supreme figures rushed into the sky and fought against a group of light and shadow figures. The Lord of Reincarnation, Chongqing Heavenly Lord, and Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord's expressions were completely shocked, and their eyes were full of disbelief. Lord of Light and Darkness. The Lord of the Undead Mountain. Emperor Da Peng. Xian Lao. Emperor Ming. Emperor Ling. In the direction of the earth, with every burst of breath, the Lord of Reincarnation, the Eternal Heavenly Lord, and the Carefree Heavenly Lord couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Looking from afar at invincible figures who used to be like themselves and could suppress an era, now they can only barely compete with a Taoist temple and divine mansion. All three of them felt their worldviews collapse and were on the verge of going crazy. Impossible, how could this be? How could there be such a powerful figure in this world? Do immortals really exist? This is not a divine idea at all, but a divine idea. The Reincarnation Master, the Carefree Heavenly Lord, and the eternal heavenly Lord, who were originally shining brightly, immediately fell silent again. The three of them turned their heads to look at Su Hong, their eyes filled with despair. At this point, they finally understood why Su Hong dared to send 5 Taoist palace deities and kill them into various forbidden areas. It turns out that even a Taoist temple deity can unleash a power far beyond the imperial level. No wonder Honghuang was instantly killed with just one move. Is this a fairy? At the critical moment of life and death, the three of them could no longer muster any courage to resist. After a moment of silence, Changxing Tianzuan slowly looked at Su Hong and said, "Immortal, does it really exist?" Su Hong nodded slightly. Changxing Tianzuan let out a sigh of disappointment and then burst out laughing wildly. Ha ha ha. After 1,000,000 years of pursuit, now we finally have the answer. Although I haven't become an immortal yet, I can still be considered dead without regrets. You take action. Su Hong didn't say much, just looked at Changxing Tianzuan calmly and pointed it out without hesitation. Immortal light shines everywhere, accompanied by an explosion in the starry sky. Eternal heavenly sovereign, fall. Then, Su Hong looked faintly at the Lord of Reincarnation and the heavenly Lord Xiaoyao. The face of the Lord of Reincarnation and the heavenly Lord Xiaoyao suddenly tightened. The two were already desperate and prepared to give up. But now it's really life and death, as if the next second of death is about to come, the two of them hesitated again. Especially knowing that immortality truly exists, the two of them have a stronger desire to become immortals. No, I don't want to die, I want to become an immortal. After enduring so long, the immortal path is right in front of me. I don't want to die. With a crazy roar, Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord's momentum shook and he rushed towards the vast starry sky. Seeing this situation, Su Hong's eyes turned cold. Stubborn and inflexible. Then, amidst the frightened gaze of the Lord of Reincarnation, Su Hong grabbed it out of thin air, and his palm felt as if it had penetrated into the depths of infinite time and space. The Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord, who had just escaped, was recaptured from the void. Then Su Hong casually pinched it, and Xiaoyao Heavenly Lord's body shattered into the void from afar, and the primordial spirit also perished. At this moment, the Lord of Reincarnation finally couldn't hold his tension anymore, crying and laughing. Ha ha ha. The pursuit of endless years ends up being nothing. Funny, ridiculous. Sad, sad. Looking at the somewhat insane reincarnation master, Su Hong just shook his head slightly. Originally, with their talents, they should have had a glorious period of time. Unfortunately, due to the limitations of heaven and earth, I had to take a wrong path in the end. Speaking seriously, it is indeed somewhat sad. However, these people have ultimately participated in the dark turmoil and cannot stay. Bend your finger and flick. A flame flew out, instantly enveloping the Lord of Reincarnation. After a few breaths, a patch of ash fell from the starry sky. Lord of Reincarnation, die. At this point, all 4 ancient supreme beings who rushed into the starry sky fell. This left Yi Hei and others, who had always been protected by Su Hongxian Guang, filled with shock in their hearts. Although they are not sure about the origins of these people. But looking at the initial arrogant and confident appearance of a few people, it is not difficult to guess that they are all former Tianjiao. Unfortunately, these people actually want to kill their ancestors, they are completely confused. At this moment, Su Hong's gaze had once again turned to the burial emperor star. As Su Hong's gaze fell above the burial emperor star, immediately, there were voices of disbelief. Impossible. The stone emperor is dead, and the heavenly emperor Xiaoyao is dead. The eternal heavenly sovereign has also died. Isn't he claiming to be an eternal? All major restricted areas are supreme. I can't believe what's happening now. First, a Taoist temple deity could suppress them and fight, but now several people have fallen. Now Xiaoyao Tianzuan, Changxing Tianzuan. A group of people have also died. At this moment, even the Supreme in the penalty area completely lost the courage to resist. Escape. Quick, escape from different directions. I don't believe it, he can kill us all alone. As long as we survive this calamity, we will have a chance to become immortals. I don't know who shouted loudly. The Forbidden Zone Supreme, who was originally still competing with Su Hong's 5 Taoist palace deities. Immediately, one by one, they urged the extreme weapons in their hands, broke through the void, and began to flee in all directions. This scene. It shocked countless creatures beyond measure. Are these still the dark supreme beings who used to be invincible, constantly launching dark turmoil and bloodshed the human world? Everyone stared at everything in front of them in disbelief. The heart was filled with excitement beyond measure. Then everyone looked together at the figure shrouded in endless purple fairy light in the starry sky, filled with longing and reverence in their hearts. So in this world, Immortal, there really exists Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.